You're not going on this trip, Bailey. Bailey thinks she's going with, but it's just me this time. I don't know what it is with the rain, a little foreshadowing of the trip maybe, let's hope not, but just spitting a little rain as we get started here. We'll be in Lake Placid, hiking on Tuesday, so we'll get a little bit of a drive. Hello, I'm David Gray and I'm on the road again, heading out on a backpacking trip that I've been thinking about doing for the last 50 years or so. I'm heading to Lake Placid, New York, where I'm going to be doing a 3-day, 25-mile or so hike in the Adirondack High Peaks Wilderness. And I say I've been thinking about it for 50 years because when I was a young child growing up in the 60s, my grandparents lived in New York, not far from the Appalachian Trail. And my dad used to speak very fondly about Lake Placid and the Adirondacks from the time when he was growing up, and he spent a lot of time there. And back in those days, we did a lot of car camping trips with the family. He always wanted to get us up there for a camping trip, but we were never able to pull it off. But I'm heading there now, so I firmly chalked this one up in the category of better late than never. I don't have the dogs or Christian with me along in the car for this trip, but it's not going to be a solo effort. When I get to Lake Placid, I'm going to be meeting up with 4 other fellow YouTubers: Jason Wish, Jeremy from the channel All Things Outdoors, Jeff from The World According to Goat, and Justin from It's Good in the Woods. So it's going to be a great crew to hike with, and I'll include all their channel links down in the description for this video so you can take a look at their videos. It's kind of interesting sometimes to see everybody's different perspective on one of these trips that we do together. Weather-wise, it looks a little bit marginal, like it has been on every trip so far in 2020. Temperatures look to be pretty good with highs in the 60s and lows in the 40s, but we've got a really good chance of rain each day. But the good news is that the very last day of hiking, the day that we're going to be going over Mount Marcy at 5,344 feet, the highest elevation in New York, that looks to be the best weather of the trip. So hopefully that'll make for some outstanding views and some excellent 4K video and still pictures. So with that, let's get this really long 13-hour drive to Lake Placid started, get this trip going. Well, we made it to I'd call it a rest area, but it's really a toll plaza. I-90's all tollway in New York. This is a pretty good spot. Most of these kind of places are really bright with lights everywhere, and I found a nice, fairly dark spot on this one. Gonna get a few hours of sleep, or at least a few hours of rest. Probably won't sleep a whole lot, so wait till the sun comes up, or at least the sky starts to brighten, and then we'll get going again. End of a good first day. We knocked off 550 plus miles of the drive. We've got less than 300 to go tomorrow, less than 5 hours of driving times. Get into Lake Placid early, and then we'll be able to explore some of the sites, see some of the Olympic history, get some video. Just really enjoy the day tomorrow, and then get a good night's sleep tomorrow, get hiking on Tuesday. End of day number 1. We accomplished what we set out to do, and now we'll get going on day number 2 tomorrow. See you in the morning. Good morning. After a wonderful, restful night's sleep, which I probably got about 30 minutes of actual sleep, we're rolling again just as the sun comes up on day number 2. Looks like we've got about 4.5 hours to go to Lake Placid. First activity today is to find some coffee, probably a McDonald's where I can get a little breakfast sandwich and some coffee, but unfortunately we are on a toll road, so options are limited. It's rolling on day number 2. Let's get this day started.
Thank you, you too.
Ooh, that's hot. Well, it isn't Dunkin' Donuts, but it sure tastes pretty good right now. Breakfast of champions. We're now on New York State Highway number 3. Definitely got two-laney, rurally type stuff here right as soon as we got off 81 and headed east from the Watertown Fort Drum here. This drive along New York State Road number 3 has been beautiful. All these little towns and then these little lakes. 100 plus miles, but man, it went fast, and it's just nothing but forests and rivers and mountain views. Not bad. Really cool drive if you get the opportunity to take the Olympic Scenic Byway, which is also known as New York State Route number 3. I recommend you do it. It's beautiful. We're approaching Lake Placid, and gives you a little better idea of the views. Wow, looky what I found. This is Art Devlin's Olympic Motor Inn, and it is our home for the night. This is the view from my balcony at the Art Devlin's Olympic Motor Inn. Not a bad view. That's the ski jumping place. I'm going to head out and do some exploring and get some video and pictures and stuff. Head up to the bobsled run, the ski jump place, the ice hockey arena where the Miracle on Ice happened. And just for reference, I got the gold room. They have bronze rooms, silver rooms, and gold rooms. And I got the gold room because I was hoping it would have this kind of a view. So for reference, for anybody coming here, get the gold room. It's only a few dollars more. Well, it's not the greatest view in the world, but I found a better one down the road, but we'll still get this one from the road. It gives you a little better perspective on it, but man, what a beautiful setting. Mount Van Hovenberg Recreation Area. This is the Bobsled Complex. I don't know how far we're going to get, but let's go give it a shot and see what we can see. That's the road we need to go up. It doesn't look too promising. I don't think we're going to go in there. Let's head to the ice arena. I know we can get some pictures and video, at least from the outside there. On to our next stop on our Olympic history tour. Well, there it is. That's the arena where the Miracle on Ice happened, 1980. It's pretty cool being here. I can't go in any of these places. It's all closed to the public, but it's just kind of nice being able to just kind of think about things. That is the speed skating rink from the 1980 Olympics, and that is where Eric Heidens, you probably don't remember him, but he won 5 individual gold medals on that rink, and I think he set 1 or 2 world records and a few Olympic records. And I remember watching it on TV. A bunch of those races were in some pretty heavy snow. It was so cool to watch that on TV. Everything nowadays is all indoors, but it was outdoors back in the day. Back during the 1980 Olympics, when they televised it, every time they started the broadcast, they would show the shot down the main street of Lake Placid, and the snow would be falling. I mean, it was just beautiful. Right, I think this is the little village itself where they always had that camera shot at the beginning of the Olympic sections. Thank you. It's not easy figuring out how to get food here. They just, literally just today, just opened it up, some of these restaurants, for limited outdoor seating. I couldn't figure it out at a couple of them. So there was a deli that was, you call them, and 20 minutes later or so, they bring your food out to you out in front of the stores. Our tour continues. Lake Placid Scenic Site, Whitefish Mountain Ski Area. That's where all the Olympic skiing events were held. This is the trailhead that we're going to be starting from tomorrow, which I believe is the Cloppich Notch Trailhead. And nobody's showing up probably till about 6 o'clock, so I decided just to check the trailhead out just to see how much parking it is. Sometimes it can get a little weird. There's all kinds of spots along the road if you had to use it, so I wouldn't worry too much about parking here. And the other thing that's really cool is there's all kinds of campsites. I probably saw 20 or more campsites like that. That would be perfect to stage out of if you didn't want to get a hotel or something.
David. Likewise. You good with that?
Handshake?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right on.
Nice to meet you, man. It's good in the woods.
Sure.
Oh, you want David?
That's part of it. Anyway.
Hey! Are you in Vermont? The gang's all here.
That's right. Yeah, I upgraded so I could get the pool.
What's up, man?
Great to see you again.
How you doing?
Justin.
Go. Go. All right.
Jeremy.
Okay, here's the Art Devlin story. He flew 50 missions in World War II in a B-24, got 3 Purple Hearts, a bunch of other stuff. So he came back here and he was in the 52 and 56 Olympics. But what he really did was he was the dude, he was part of a committee of people that was determined to bring the Olympics here in 1980. They thought they had it nailed in 1976. And it ended up going to Innsbruck, Austria. They were so impressed with the presentation these dudes did that they were like the front runners for 1980, so they were able to bring it here in 1980.
That's awesome.
So the growlers are the beers. The only cocktails you can take off. I can put your guys' name on the wait list.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well do that and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, what's the name?
David Gray.
There you go. We bailed on the Lake Placid brew pub place. We got a better offer from a pizza place like right next to the Art Devlin Olympic Motor Inn. Pizza and beer, the universal food group before a hike. All right, here's our outdoor seating. One table at a bowling, I don't even know what that place is, but here's where we ordered the pizza from, Mr. Mike's. Oh, you got your mask on. Aren't you just the socially conscious?
They wouldn't let me in. Everybody's going to take a little sample of the Beaver Bite IPA, the only beer on tap here at the Bully Bar Grill in Lake Placid.
Cheers.
To great adventures in the high peaks.
Oh man, here we go.
High Peaks.
Looks like plans have changed. We were gonna go back to the pool, but we're getting pretty comfortable right here. So Jason got 3 large pizzas, it appears.
This is the non-David pizza. It's got veggies on it.
Ugh. Who does that with a pizza?
That is not
That
the
is
Dave
not.
special.
No. Oh, that'll work. That'll work fine.
Yeah, I'm all
Pizza
about
in
that
Lake
one.
Placid. We're good to go. All right, we're making the short walk back from the pizza place to the Art Devlin's Olympic Motor Inn. Relocate the pre-hike party to the pool.
It's got a great shot of the mountains in the background.
Really? That's awesome. Here it comes.
Oh, yeah?
Sure, you're not there on the awning.
No, it's
Does it have some water resistance?
I like how calm you are.
I do too.
I
I
feel relaxed knowing that you're like super calm about your camera and stuff. He's like, nah, dude.
It's like extremely calming. At the same time, it's nerve-wracking.
Oh, is that waterproof? No, not really.
Good morning. Welcome to day number 3 of the trip. First day of hiking finally. The travel portion is over, and now we just get to think about hiking up in them mountains. At least for right now, it looks like a pretty beautiful day. Definitely supposed to be some rain today and tomorrow, but every day from here on out, weather looks to be improving, and then that final day when we go over Mount Marcy looks to be the best day of the trip. Just getting rolling. It's about 6 o'clock. Meeting everybody over in the lobby of the hotel about 7 for some continental breakfast to see what that is. Day number 3, get it going. First day of hiking. I'm excited. Nice little bit of last minute gear preparation going on. I think we're all set, ready to go. Now is that moment when if Carl was on the trip, he'd pull out his digital scale and weigh it, but I'll give you my assessment of it. Yeah, heavy.
Man, that thing is tiny.
That's what I said.
I thought you
What
had
kind? I have a big one.
The size
This
of
is
that
the
thing.
DJI Mavic Mini.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Two.
It
The
really
first
is
one
a
went in the
small
river
thing.
last month.
It sounds like a bug.
There we go. Oh, that's just way too cool. I gotta get one of these.
Look at the clouds in the
That's
background.
beautiful,
Oh,
man.
man. I'm getting it over there to the wolf jaw. I think that's over there to the left. There it's coming.
Wow, dude. That's
That
awesome.
is
I'm glad you
awesome.
brought that. There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're staying in the parking lot.
Everybody wave. Perfect landing.
That's what I need this morning. Lobby of the Art Devlin Olympic Motor Inn.
pretty cool. Olympic medals.
Picture of him ski jumping right there.
We are rolling. We're going to make a stop at the ski jumping place so Jason can get some drone footage.
We're gonna go to the ski hills.
There, I see it.
Oh yeah, baby. That's cool. ABC Wide World of Sports. Dun, 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 dun. Look at those views too.
Oh, the mountains in the background. That might be the thumbnail right there.
Carrier landing mode.
Like a big ass bumblebee. Yeah.
Sticks the landing.
We are finally rolling to the trailhead, and what a glorious day for hiking, huh? We made it to the trailhead. Klondike Notch. I think I call it Klopich Notch. As you can see, it is a glorious day right now. There is not a cloud in the sky, but it is hot. Oops, skeeters. I was thinking 60s for highs, 40s for lows. It's 80s and humid. Just last minute gear prep. We'll be hiking soon. See the steam coming off. That tells you a little bit idea how hot that sun is. Oop. Skeeter took it on the chin on the spider web. Oh, he got out. The guy who said it was going to be 60 degrees and no humidity, that's him.
That was at night.
That's him. This is like Indiana hiking in the summertime, man. We are hiking, I think. Oh, nope, we're getting one shot here. The gang's all here. We're rolling. We're on trail.
Beautiful place already.
A little bit of tannin in the water.
Doing our little self-permit thing.
Leader of the group, David effing Gray.
A little bit of a bug spot stop here. The skeeters are chewing on us. I'm sweating a little bit. I can't even tell you how humid it is. With all the rain we had, it's like a jungle. Was not expecting this.
How'd we get to Costa Rica?
That is what they call a breeze, and it is extremely welcome.
I can't begin to describe what it was like on that climb. It's just been a non-stop climb, about 700 vertical feet, and it was like going through a jungle in Costa Rica. It was so humid. I was having a real hard time just getting a deep breath. It was one of those kind of humidities. Some perspective on what we're hiking in. This is the first water we've come to, and this is definitely a high water consumption day because
Oh, it's nice and cold too.
like the tropics. Look at this. Imagine this with sauna-like humidity and 80 degrees, because that's precisely what it is.
This is the first legit little stream we came to.
Kind of the steam rising, but it gives you some idea of the humidity. And there's the trail. They decided to turn that last photo op into a water stop. Going through so much water with this humidity, it's a good idea. Filling up with a couple liters of clean water.
So we'll follow this. We'll just keep going straight, and then it'll just be like a big, huge camping area. I wonder what that Johns Brook Lodge. I mean, we're gonna go right by it, but that looks kind of cool.
Maybe they got
to
beer.
check out. Maybe.
This is what we're hiking in, and bringing back post-traumatic stress disorder from Cranberry. Well, it's beautiful, but it is not easy hiking. The other thing I just noticed, it's been gradually happening, is the forest is changing. No more of the deciduous trees, and now we're into the conifers. Now it's got that pine forest smell. Nice cool breeze. We're out of the jungle.
Get one in.
Important trail junction here. Here's where we started, South Meadows. And I don't know where are we going. Well, I know we're going past the John Brooks Lodge, right?
Yeah.
It's not much past that though.
No.
So we probably got, I'm guessing,
Another mile on top
two
of that.
and a half maybe for the day.
My map says Virginia. I think we're in
Oh,
trouble.
no. Maybe that's the problem.
I'm telling you.
It feels like Virginia in the summertime.
I know.
This is rough going, man. Ugh. Ooh, that was a bad choice.
4,100.
And he enjoys coming onto our property.
Yeah.
We've been dropping here for a while and we got back into the jungle. Not so pleasant anymore. Well, thought I'd show this shot here before we put the camera away. We thought we were here in a stream, but it wasn't. It was the rain coming at us across the forest, getting all geared up here. Right when we get the gear on, it seems like it's slowing down.
The gear's doing its job.
That's why we put the gear on, was to get the rain to stop. I was gonna say the heavy stuff isn't gonna come down for quite some time now, but I think it's coming down now. Look what we stumbled upon. Nice little rainstorm we had, but we came across some sort of lodge thing. Well, here's the scene. The rain hasn't figured out whether it wants to stop or keep going. Cool little setting here. Kind of regrouping here for a little bit and trying to decide whether it's a rain sort of thing or a dry sort of thing. I decided to turn this into a little lunch spot.
Yeah.
Nice spot. Rain's making up its mind, and right now it's deciding on rain, not dry. Got about 1.1 miles to go from here. It might be a wet 1.1 miles. Well, we are rolling again. The weather's looking good. That's generally where it's coming in from. Got a little over a mile to go to the shelter. Nice little bridge and pretty little spot. That's not the lens being fogged up. That's the humidity. So we're back down lower. Deciduous forest, the jungle. With all that lovely rain that came in, it did nothing to help the humidity levels. So it's stifling again. But man, what a pretty spot. That's a foot trail sign. But that doesn't look like a foot trail. It's a lot steeper than it looks on this camera, but I think that's where we're heading, straight up that slot. I think this is like an avalanche slide or something. It's all the down trees. But it gives you some views, which is kind of cool, and we also think we're almost right on top of the shelter. So starting to wonder if we're ever going to find it. There's the shelter, or lean-to. Wolf Jaw lean-to. Turns out there are at least a couple people, maybe 4 already here. And it's not that big. So we're trying to figure out what to do here. Shelter life. We have friends in the shelter. Hey there, little guy. Ooh. Think we're gonna have mice issues tonight? Oh, look at the baby. Oh, that is like way cool. Kind of creepy, but really cool.
Yeah, that's like her 4th or 5th one she's moved out of there.
So she's been like literally fearlessly moving one baby at a time over to that spot over there. So that's what you get at the Wolf Jaw shelter.
What you got? That's how heavy it is. Get in and lay down.
Yeah. Because I might be like, this sucks.
Little buggy at the shelter. Got the lean-to set up.
Yeah, which I'm going to like fold out.
I kind of figured, yeah. Off gathering water, and man, that's a pretty cool view.
I mean, I guess we'll walk that by in the morning again, but...
Is that like a bee-free filter? Oh, that's cool.
And you know what they say? Oh, it's not good for viruses.
Yeah, it's not good for viruses, really, or bacteria, or anything else in the water, but the flow rate is fantastic.
Yeah, you're not safe, but it's crazy how fast it is.
Everybody decided to have dinner down by the stream. The views are better. There's lots of nice sitting rocks.
Well, the bugs weren't so bad when it was breezy, but now they're biting me. Yeah. That was a good first day.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Fun, man. A little bit of exercise.
Some rain. That was fun.
Yeah, variety, some heat.
Now I want to hit the 100-mile wilderness. I would love to do that. I don't need to hike the AT. I don't want to through hike the whole. Just give me the 100-mile wilderness and I'll be fine. Wait till the first.
Are you guys leaving?
I think.
No, we're gonna head over towards.
We're not pushing out, are we?
No.
You guys were actually really welcoming. It's like
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, you guys aren't like vibing us out or anything. But
This is pretty nice. It could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, this actually worked out really well. It's not pouring down rain. Okay, we don't have a campfire, but we got the shelter to ourselves. That was part of the plan.
I don't think it can get a whole lot better.
That's the only thing that would make it better, honestly, is fire.
Fire.
This
is
is
inconvenient.
some caribou, lake trout.
Oh,
yeah. You had to go there. Jalapeno and bacon.
Chili dogs. Those chili dogs.
Probably be
Chili
really
dogs
good
are
chicken.
good.
I've never tried it.
That's bigger than the mouse. Man, that is the biggest
That's
bug
awesome.
I think I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
He's giant.
Have any of you actually ever used a
I
bidet?
never have.
It's amazing
Yeah,
from
yeah.
what I hear. Pretty incredible.
Someone have dryers too that dry you off.
Yeah, they do.
Warm air.
I'm
Dude,
sure
some
you
of
can
them-
get whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yes, there's some like they get up to like thousands of dollars. Like if you like I was checking
That's
them out.
crazy.
There's some that are like as low as like
We need one.
$50, and like it just runs out through the cold water line,
Oh my.
and you just like pump it. And it's like it's like
Yeah, I want the warm. I want the gentle sprinkles.
with quick dryer.
Can I get the gentle sprinkle bottle? Hand lotion in there too.
With the hand massage.
Yes, Joe. You've been in there for 15 hours. Are you okay?
Oh my gosh.
okay?
My stomach hurts. That was funny. Yeah, man, I slept really well for 5 or 6.
Good morning. Welcome to day number 3 of the trip. Second day of hiking. Yeah, it was quite a night. The rain came in about 4 o'clock or so and it started coming down. I was pretty darn glad to be in the shelter. We're just getting started. A little after 6. I think it'll be an early start, and then we've got, this was a rough day, up to the top of the ridge line and then up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down over all the various mountains up there. But this is the day that we're going to get the views. So just getting started on day number 3.
Like nuts.
I do the same thing.
Also, they're hard to understand.
Yeah.
Or like the old-fashioned.
Old fashioned. There is ventilation on the edges. Get out and.
Are you supposed to seam seal them?
Oh yeah.
Why? It doesn't come with
Yeah, rice and it's pulse. Yeah, see how thin the rice gets?
Come up here so you can
Yeah.
hear me a little better.
It was fine.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee on a
Yeah.
rainy and really grungy morning in the Adirondacks High Peaks Wilderness. Let's see how this
I
goes.
had people telling me it'll go rancid and dehydrated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good way to start the day on any kind of a day, but this one's going to be a long one, getting it started the
I
right
don't
way.
think they're probably wrong.
Breakfast this morning is honey bunches of oats with meat.
Thank you,
It's
though.
like dehydrated chocolate coated coconuts and stuff in there. It's like,
Yeah.
that's good. Same here, buddy.
Same here, man.
After my morning coffee, like clockwork.
Me too, man.
All right, guys, it's story time.
Wait.
Yeah, this is our journal entry.
This is the Wolf Jaw Journal,
Shelter journal time.
June 23rd, 2020. Our group of 5 from Indiana, Ohio, and New Hampshire enjoying the High Peaks Wilderness. Had a great night at the shelter. Watch out for the mouse. The only thing that could have made it better would have been a great campfire. We are all YouTubers filming the adventure. Check out the videos in a few weeks. David Gray, Jason Wish. It's good in the woods, all things outdoors, in the world according to GOAT. Hike on.
Here, here.
All right. Nicely done. We are geared up and ready to go on a very long day number 2. We're a little concerned about it, actually. A big concern here is water. We think this might be the last water source for like 5 miles of heavy climbing and rough hiking. So hopefully with all the rain, maybe there'll be maybe this trail will be a stream. Heading our way up to Wolf Jaw. Big climb to start day number 3. I wasn't sure if we'd get any of that. That's the sun poking out. Here's the scene as we get started. Clouds rolling through up there. There's a lot more water in this than there was yesterday. This is what it's been and going to be all the way from the lean-to. Hiking right along this stream, really pretty setting, but it's just nothing but up steep. Come across these every once in a while. This is an avalanche slide. That's where all the trees came to an end at the bottom of the hill. It didn't go any further, but give you a little perspective of the vegetation and the terrain. It's just been that all the way since camp. I'd say we reached the top, but I think there's still up to go, but we hit the trail junction at the top of the ridge.
That was a legit climb, man. Steeper than about anything you'll ever see in Indiana, where I'm from, and about 10 times longer. This flatlander from the Midwest does not train on stuff like that. First major milestone of the day, and probably the longest climb is done, but now we've got roller coaster. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, over all the different summits up here. Turns out the climb isn't quite over. We're still going up. A little bit of a rock scramble thing. That's where we're going. Like the dragon's tooth on the Triple Crown in Virginia.
This is like the spacing of all the mountains.
Here's the next little jaunt up.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Legit scramble.
Uh-huh. You ruined my G rating, man. Yep. That's the trail. You can see the little foot trail sign there. Oh man, oh man. That's legit. Well, that's where we came from.
Little sneak peeks.
Nice views.
Lower Wolf Trap, buddy.
Getting closer to the summit of Upper Wolf. What's it called? Wolf Jaw?
Wolf Jaw.
Upper Wolf Jaw, and the trail hasn't gotten any easier.
Mud advisory.
Much happier now. we kind of hit the summit, I think. Wolf Jaw, Upper Wolf Jaw, and the summit's kind of like a flat plateau, so we got a little flat stuff without rock scramble, so that's kind of nice. This is kind of a cool little spot. You can also see the ridge line. We're going to be going over all of those little things right along the top. We were not at the top of Upper Wolf Jaw. There's that guy right there, I think. So we got a little bit of climbing to do. I think it's a few hundred feet above us, and then right along that ridge is where we go. Incredible. We're on the summit of Upper Wolf Jaw, and I would definitely say there's some good views.
I already had the whole place myself, taking all kinds of selfies. And I could.
Yeah, but I'm not.
But I'm not.
Hard work, but we're getting rewarded with some views now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is what we have been doing, both up and down, non-stop. I hope the whole thing isn't like this, but I'm guessing it probably is. Uh-huh. That's the trail, straight up that ridge. Oh my God. This trail is no joke. I did not want to see that. There's the trail. And there's the trail. This is not easy. The Adirondack High Peak Wilderness. This is what you're signing up for.
Stairway to heaven.
Sounds like a broken record, but there she is again. There's no easy stuff on this. Nearing the top of Armstrong, and here's the views we're getting. There's the trail. And the view. You gotta earn it, but it's pretty good. Wow.
I don't care if it is or isn't.
Snow. I was gonna say, is that snow? I see
The wind picked up a little bit up here. Woohoo! That's a little chilly. We're on Armstrong, and right up there's the Gothics. That's what we have. The next one. And over there, with the snow on top, that's Marcy. Mount Marcy, highest point in New York.
Oh, no, I don't want to break the straps on my backpack.
Here's the trail going down. Look forward to those downhills, but they're not so easy either.
This is pleasant.
Sketchy stuff, man. That is the Gothics. That's the next one we gotta go over the top of. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty hard. We got two more after that. Here's where we're going. 0.4 miles. You think you knock that off in about 10 minutes, right?
3 hours
You do in Indiana. That 0.4 miles goes right up there. Just like Indiana. They do have a mud advisory here. For good reason. This little boggy section here, very cool.
Not even bottom. I'm just sitting there. Like I could definitely. There's nothing on it.
There's nothing down there. Old man's beard is what that stuff is called. And then the view. Heading up to the Gothics. Well, this is pretty commonplace nowadays. Uh-oh. Pretty common trail nowadays. At least has been today. Closing in on the top of the Gothics, and that right over there is where we stopped on Wolfjaw. That was where we had lunch. Near in the top of the Gothics, I think it's right up there, but even not at the top. I know the views are even going to be better up there, but...
Yes.
Well, we made it to the summit of the Gothics.
That's really cool.
A little geological marker at the very top of the Gothics.
What an accomplishment, guys. Good job.
We did.
It's a little windy at the top of the Gothics. You can see for 100 miles in all directions. We got really lucky on weather.
Why people kick them over, or why they belong here, or what?
Well, like
There's the Gothics right there. Right there. Top of the top one there. No, we're not in Saddleback yet.
We're not in Saddleback yet. This is still silent.
Hey, Peanut, how are you?
Not at the top, but views aren't bad. Kind of getting to what we've heard is the sketchy part of the Gothics descent with cables and everything.
we're getting there.
Coat doesn't like heights very much. He's hugging these bushes to the right because he got some stuff here. But man, oh man, we're not in Indiana anymore. Getting to the fun part of the Gothics descent here. A little more exposed. This is a lot steeper than it looks, but fortunately it's really sticky. Good backdrop. Looks like you drop off the end of the world right there. So this is one technique for the descent. And you can see if he loses it right here, I'm not sure what's going to stop him before he goes over all of that, but gives us some perspective looking back the other way. This is really steep. And here, I'll show you my feet. We're going into real slow, sticky mode. And we're hoping that the shoes hold up. Yeah, I see the cable right there. Goat's going to love that, man. I think this might be the only time I've ever taken one where I say, yeah, that's about as steep as it was. It looks as steep as it was. What'd you think of that?
That was fun.
Yeah, what's scary about this is all the things we've done, they must not have considered that too risky because there were no cables. Now all of a sudden we're rappelling off the side of a mountain. Cool. Let's see the technique, Jeremy.
All right. Can someone do a screenshot of it and send that to me at some point?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'll get a picture for you.
Okay.
Thank God.
Whoa! That's awesome. The fun continues. They've got another cable up here, and I think they had like a rubber hose in between that must have broken and never been fixed. Man, that is like just sketchy as hell. I am parting ways with the group here. I've decided to not take on Marcy tomorrow with the way I'm feeling, and I am gonna head down the hill near the lodge we had lunch at yesterday and go to the Orbed Rook lean-to and bail a little early instead of 2 more mountains today. I'll own it that I was unprepared for this trip physically. It just beat me down. This is like no hiking I've ever done before. I'm not gonna push it too hard. So we've seen the Gothics, we've got the group picture. We got to go down that fun little rock scramble with the cables. So I think I'm gonna bail here and we're gonna split ways, and I think Jeff and Justin are gonna continue on. So they're gonna head over to the Snowbird campground. Jeremy, you coming with or are you going? So it looks like we're splitting up, but we're gonna have 2 people each for safety's call. I feel comfortable with that, so it'll still be a good video, promise. Okay, here's the other thing. I want to put it in perspective. I don't know if I can see it, but Wolfjaw Lean-to, that's where we started, 3.9 miles. It doesn't seem right, but we were hiking for 6 hours and did 3.9 miles.
That's crazy. That might be a record for me.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's slow even for me. All right, after falling twice now myself, and Jeremy fell once on these slippery rocks. That's cool. Fortunately, the trail goes this way, but we are still descending at a ridiculous angle on these rocks. That's what it's all been like, and you started getting slippery with moss covered and went down twice. That was nasty. Oh, full on the first time. Rolled a few times, but landed on my pack, no harm done. No damage to the camera, miracle. Second time was just a minor one, but I kind of wrenched my knee. We'll see how that feels in a little while.
Not tonight.
So we reached the bottom of the steps. There's the view down towards where we're going to be camping. And there's that avalanche chute. Trees end up at the bottom over here. Hopefully it'll flatten out. We'll make some better time. That was still really steep and slow coming down. That would be tough to climb your way through. Right in there, those steps we came down, and we started all the way at the very top and then some. Well, we were finally on something that I would call almost a trail. Still pretty rocky, but it's a lot flatter. Nice compared to the other stuff, but getting closer to the shelter home for tonight. Well, we have reached the shelter site. I'm going to camp, I think, right here. The shelter was almost full, and then there were people camping down by the river too. Very, very badly needed Adirondack R4. I think we've pretty much figured out our camp. I mean, we're spread out all over the place here in this area, but it's just a lot neater area than yesterday's shelter. I got to get this going. My legs are cooked. That was a legit hiking day. That was definitely the hardest hiking I have ever done in my life. And yes, I've done the Four Pass Loop and Glacier National Park and many places in Colorado that were all brutally difficult. In terms of trail conditions, mile for mile, that was ridiculous. And I leave it to all the people in the Northeast and New England that knock out those trails. Justin was saying pretty common trail for New Hampshire, so he was at home on it. So to all you folks in the Northeast, I have a newfound respect for the trails that you guys have.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk about this packet of Mountain House chicken breast with rib meat and mashed potatoes. Not the flavor, this very package. I've had it for like 10 years. I consider it like one of my favorite hiking partners because I've probably taken this on 10 trips over the years and never made it. And this time I'm definitely going to eat it. It's a long lost friend, so I just wanted you guys to know that this one is something special. They're all the same because they've like shed their prior existence and just want to get out there. They get a different trail name, a different identity. We have run into all of these people with all these different stories, and you never even know, and they're like the nicest people in the world that would do anything for you.
GoPro on. Why is it not doing this?
GoPro, turn off the other way.
GoPro turn on. You just mount it wherever you want on your kayak or canoe.
That's pretty cool.
Bam.
Badass. And I'm talking about like they make like really good like radios, like
Out in the mountains.
This wasn't hot. Yeah, just what you'd think with the metal handles and the flame right underneath it. Why would it be hot?
Wow. For some weird reason, fire does that.
that's awesome.
And they were good.
Yeah.
It's hard to run across that these days. Everything's so uptight. Dude, you're dinging.
I know, that's a message received.
Hopefully it's Jason saying he makes it to shelter.
No, it'll be an interesting story to hear how it worked out.
It's
So
going to be extremely interesting.
I hope it worked out extremely well. We had a great night, because this has been a great night.
Sure has.
I wouldn't.
Sure has.
I wouldn't be able to touch
I'll drink
it.
to that.
It worked
Cheers.
out a lot better than I thought it might for a few moments there.
All part of group adventure.
Yeah.
Good morning. I don't think I can move. A little sore from that legendary day yesterday. Welcome to day number 5 of the trip total now. Third and final day of backpacking. We'll ended a little differently yesterday than we had planned on, but I think we all decided that everything worked out the way it needed to work out yesterday for everybody. An easier day for us today, basically retracing much of what we did on that first day. We're going to head down beginning of the day to the lodge, and then there'll be an uphill section, and then it's all really entirely downhill to the car after that. Start of third day of hiking, getting ready to head back to the cars. What would a David Gray video be without a good privy scene? Whatever you think of this one, it's about 100 times better than the one at the Wolfjaw shelter. That one was just nasty. This one's actually relatively clean and doesn't have that wonderful odoriferous scent to it. No good views from this one, unfortunately, but it served its purpose. This Zen moment brought to you by YouTube TV. Not the best sitting rock for making Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Dunkin' Donuts coffee on a absolutely spectacular day in the Adirondacks High Peak Wilderness. This is what it's all about. Mornings like this, views like what we had yesterday, makes all the effort and pain and the trouble worthwhile, because this is living here, man. This is really, really good. Great way to start our last day. And breakfast this morning is Mountain House granolas with milk and blueberries. It's just real fast and simple. A little dangerous pouring it straight from the bottom. Good stuff and simple.
And they were like, "Oh, you drank from that? That was downriver in
Not
the
a
sugar."
good
I'm like,
plan.
there was a sign right there that said that was the spring. Oh, the spring was over there. I'm
That
like,
was the latrine.
It was.
Well, we are geared up and ready to go on day number 3. Looks like a beautiful day. Last day, about 7 miles, I think, back to the car. We're going to go by the lodge that we went by on the first day and then retrace our steps. So there won't be a lot of new stuff after that, but got one uphill climb from the lodge and then it's pretty much downhill to the car. So it shouldn't be too long and the trail should be a lot better than yesterday. Getting going on day number 3. Well, here's the camp. My camp anyways. We were kind of spread out. Goat was up the hill up there a little ways, but we have left no trace. It was a really nice night last night around that non-fire. Would have been great with a fire, but it was great without it too. We're rolling day number 3. But we're rolling on day number 3. Getting it started. Show you what the Ore Bed Brook shelter looks like. Pretty much what all the shelters around here look like. Nice little river right at the base of the hill. I'm guessing they weren't too happy with us because we were up pretty late. Not sure we were being super quiet. We had a great time, but I'm sure those folks were saying some few choice words about us. So if any of them ever watch this video, I'm sorry.
I get a strange feeling like I've been here before.
You have been here before. I was just going to say that. We are now on trail that we've already traversed. 3/10 of a mile from the lodge here. And this is what we did the first day. Right after the lodge, we got the bridge up here. Then we go uphill for a while, and then it's all downhill to the car after that. So making good time this morning on some real trails finally. I remember going up these steps, so it gives you perspective on the terrain. Not all flat here. Snow White and the 2 dwarves. Back to the bridge and the lodge just beyond. There's Goat doing his thing. And a little bit nicer day than when we were here a couple days ago. It is really beautiful here. Good place to come back to if it was open.
Check out this old, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Shackle system of
Horse
some
thing.
sort. Horse thing.
Some sort of horse thing, we think.
Right, horse thing. That's the official term.
Antique farm equipment.
This is what it's been like pretty much from the lodge. We're heading up to Klondike Notch. I remember coming down and thinking it was pretty steep. But the good news is, this is the only uphill left. So once we get to the top of the notch, I don't know how far it is, but then it's all downhill to the car. So it gets your attention. It's a little steep, but it's not nearly as rugged as what we were doing yesterday. Still going up the Klondike Notch Trail. Gives you some idea of the grade. But when it's done, we're done with the up for the trip. We may have reached the top of the climb, which is a really good feeling because it's
all downhill from here. 4 miles to the car.
What I call it is
On the downhill now, just past the notch. Heading down to the car. A little different kind of trail than yesterday, and definitely a little different hiking pace. Maybe about 8 times as fast as what we were doing yesterday on average. Hitting this little meadow here, which is like right before the cars. We're within smelling distance now. We got separated from Jason yesterday. We kind of suspected he'd beat us back doing double the miles, and he did.
I just got your message,
man. So glad you made it.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear your story.
Can't wait to hear your story.
It's fantastic.
So there you have it. The Adirondacks High Peak Wilderness, June 2020, is in the books. That second day was without doubt the most physically demanding hiking I have ever done. And to put it in perspective, I've always thought the 4-pass loop out in Colorado was a pretty tough one. I think it is. The hardest hiking we did on that trail, second day, we did 11 miles in 11 hours, 1 mile an hour. Yesterday, for the whole day, we did 6 miles in 10.5 hours. And for the really slow part, it was probably even half that pace. But it was all worth it. Those 360 panorama views up at the top of some of those mountains, especially the Gothics, was one for the memory banks. It'll be a lifetime memory that I will never forget. And then hiking with these guys, Jason, Jeff, Jeremy, and Justin, 4 J's, was really one of the more happy moments in my life. Not just the hiking with them, but also the time we shared in the camps together. It was a lot of laughter and just a lot of special times. The Adirondacks High Peak Wilderness didn't turn out exactly like we wanted it to, but it was still a great, I think we can honestly call that one an epic hike.